It's, okay. Welcome everybody to the rNetwork corporate call, and we're super excited to have you on here today. My name is Dave Dove. For those that are brand new and listening for the very first time, welcome. We are excited to have you here. Just to kind of give you a little idea, this call happens every Monday, 2 p.m. And today is a special call because we get to hear from our CEO, Mr. Trent Walker, along with our Chief Revenue Officer, John McKillop, and a couple of our field trainers, which is Ed Terranova and John Stahl, which you guys obviously know who they are, and they're exciting to have them on here with us. Hold on, guys. And then also what I'd like to help you, hold on one sec, guys. I'm sorry, somebody keeps. Also after that, you'll get to hear from those four gentlemen today. And just want to bring everybody up to speed as far as our vision goes and what our vision is. Our vision is a participation marketplace that is creating a revolutionary financial movement that is shifting the power and the profits from the big businesses back to the individual. And through the power of the network, we're able to leverage exclusive savings and drive a greater income for all that wish to participate. And we're super excited to have you here today. And so our first guest that gets to speak today is our CEO, Mr. Trent Walker. And I'm going to turn the time over to Trent here. We're excited to have you, Trent. Thanks for taking the time out of your schedule to be on with us today. And we're all excited to hear from you. So,
yeah, perfect. Thanks, Dave. My section today is relatively brief. I just want to talk a bit about the vision for about 1 minute. And then I get the pleasure of officially introducing John McKillop, the new Chief Revenue Officer. I know that most of you have seen the corporate announcement coming out about him. Some of you guys have been on calls with him already. But this is the first corporate call where we're able to introduce him. I want to talk a little bit about his process of coming on board and the paces we put him through before we brought him aboard. John's laughing because it was relatively painful probably for him. But so real quick, vision, it is about a financial movement. It's about improving people's quality of life and improving people's financial freedom. I say the word freedom a lot. People define freedom differently. Each of us have different goals. And if you saw my 4th of July announcement, I referenced the idea that, for the 4th of July in the United States was Independence Day. It was back in 1776 when we signed our Declaration of Independence. And it's always been important to me. It's for our international folks. Again, it's once a year on the 4th of July celebrating independence. And to me, it's become even more important since we started our network, because our network does, to me, represent a couple things. It's about a group of individuals pushing towards a common goal and a better quality of life. It represents freedom from debt, freedom to spend more time with your families, freedom to travel more, and freedom to earn the way you want to earn. And so the word freedom comes out in a lot of what I say. And Dave mentioned the participation marketplace. When we brought this thing together, the participation marketplace represents a mechanism in which we accomplish that. It's about redirected spending into a marketplace that allows the benefit to go to the masses instead of big business and big banks. The idea is a profit share and revenue share with all those who choose to participate. We have arrived and things are heating up. And things are going really well. I think John's going to actually talk about a few exciting announcements that are coming and talk about his experience in the first 3 weeks of being on board. And so I don't want to steal any of his thunder. So let me talk a bit about John. The process was pretty difficult for John. He spent 7 hours in a room with me. It literally was a 7-hour interview. And then even after that, we spent multiple days on the phone. Because to me, this role was extremely important. It was going to be the person who spent the most time structuring and interacting with the charter members. He was going to be responsible for the overall strategy of communicating with the field, working with Dave to make sure things were going properly. He was going to be an innovator in the company. John has 30 years of experience in direct sales. We needed someone in the role that had a ton of experience in the direct sales. You guys all know me well enough to know this is not the industry I came from. I come from finance and fintech. I needed someone sitting in that executive room with me that came from the industry and could really advise the broader organization on things we should be doing. And John had that experience, but that was on paper. He's worked for some of the largest organizations in the industry. But to me, what's on paper can only do so much. So after the interview, John and I spent multiple days on the phone. We talked probably a dozen times over the course of 3.5 to 5 months before we extended an official offer. And again, it was because I was looking for someone with process and structure, someone that could hold to the structure of the organization, drive process rigor, and understood how to drive a communication structure into an growing international organization. We needed someone with a feel for the industry. We needed someone with real executive presence that could not only have executive presence on the phone with the charter members, but could sit in our boardroom and speak confidently about the things that we were doing. We needed someone with the ability to quickly move from strategy to execution, someone that didn't mind, that could sit in a strategy room and figure out the proper way to move the organization forward, but then didn't mind getting their hands dirty and driving day-to-day practical execution. We needed someone that understood change management, how to evolve the change in an organization. And most importantly, I wanted to make sure, and this is why it was over the course of a 3 to 5 month period, we really wanted to make sure that John's why aligned to the rest of the organization. It's probably what is the most important to us at rNetwork, that people's philosophical ideals align to the philosophical ideals of the organization. It was focusing on doing the right thing all the time, and integrity, and looking outward to make sure the things that he could be the voice of the charter members and the customers to drive a sense of participation and integrity in the organization. John has come on board and changed the phrasing already a little bit. And he phrases it as a desire to serve. And I think that it is a great way to put it, that everyone needs to align internally and in the field with the desire to serve. And John checked all those boxes in front of everyone. I want to apologize to John for putting him through the incredible process. But it is a pleasure for me and a privilege to introduce John to the organization. I think I know we got the right person and the right fit, and I can't tell you how incredibly awesome it is to have him aboard, and how awesome it's been, the changes he is already pushing in the organization, and the innovation that he's able to come up with because of his time in the industry. So with that, I actually want to turn it over to John, and take it away, John.
Actually, we're gonna hear from Ed and from John first. Dave's gonna introduce them, but I do want to comment on one thing, Trent. That's 7 hours in that boardroom with you and the rest of the team. I've had less painful tooth extractions, so that was one long day. It was pleasurable, but I was thinking I was bumping into walls when I walked out of there. It was a very challenging interview, and I had never met anybody that interviewed quite the way you were, and you were all over the place on purpose, and then asking similar questions yet very different to see if I answered them again. You were a very strategic interviewer, and at the end of it, I wish I knew what I was walking into, so I would have better prepared. But evidently, I guess I did okay, because I came out.
You did awesome.
Came out the other side.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, we're glad to have you, and I'll tell you what, super excited to have John McKillop on board, you guys. I mean, this is exactly what the company needed, and I couldn't be more honored to work with John and be able to learn from him. And this is he is a servant mentality. He has a servant leadership mentality, and I love that about him. So I want to just take a second, just introduce, first of all, John Stahl. I know many of you already know who he is, but when you think of loyalty, you think of hard work, you think of service, and an incredible gentleman and incredible family man. I just got to tell you, I'm excited to hear from him. So, John, I'm going to turn the time over to you out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dave. Thank you so much, Trent. You know what, our champions, it's another example of just building this world-class leadership, thanks to Trent's vision. I mean, after having just multiple conversations with John, I feel like I've known him actually for years. What a great heart. And one thing I really love about John is his passion and his enthusiasm, not for self, but certainly in losing himself for the betterment of others. It's a perfect example for what we're trying to do with this mission, and that is the rNetwork movement. We couldn't have a better champion on board with us, gentlemen. So great hire. And welcome, John. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you even better. I feel like we've really got some great synergy, and looking forward to learning from you, Coach.
Thank you, John, very much.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that big time. And next, you get to hear from Mr. Ed Terranova, one of my favorites. I just got to tell you, this guy brings tons of energy, passion behind it, what he does. They both work so good together. They've created such an amazing culture already, not only on their own team, but they're always helping other people on other teams. And I love that about these guys. But Ed, being a retired firefighter from New Jersey, and this guy is incredible. Love his training. So I'm going to turn the time over to Mr. Ed.
You're on mute.
Hold on. We got to get you unmuted there, Ed.
Every time you call me Mr. Ed, I just can't help but think about Wilbur. Now, I just dated myself. I know that. But
I thought the same thing, Ed.
I know you did, John. I know you did. So I'm so honored and blessed. And, you said I was a firefighter. I used to get paid to put out fires. Now I get paid to start fires. And we're going to start a lot of fires all over the world with this company. And I tell you, when I first heard that John McKillop was considering coming on board and the company was talking to him, I was thrilled because I worked with John in the past. We've known each other for over 12 years, and there isn't a more stable, solid individual that's going to give his all. And John's the type of person that he's kind of low key. He takes everything in, comes back with great energy. I've had the privilege of sharing ideas in the past that we're able to get not only run through from the field to John, acting with a company that he helped take to do close to $1 billion in annualized revenue. I knew we needed somebody just like John right here. When I knew he was available and the company was talking to him, I said, fantastic, he's a perfect fit. So John, I can't wait to go build this giant with you, and welcome to the team.
Ed, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Ed. Appreciate it big time. You couldn't have said it better. I just want to say this, you guys, before I turn the time to John McKillop, is, I've seen him already in just a short time that we've been working together here. It's exactly everything that Ed had just said about John. But I wanted to say this, is that this guy's focus is laser focused. And it's so exciting that we actually have somebody that is representing the field at that level with the founders and the executives of the company, and to have his wisdom that he brings, as I've already said. So his head's getting pretty big now, so we've got to stop talking about it. But I just wanted to say that it's a privilege working with you, John, and looking forward to it and learning from you. And so just let's give it up for Mr. John McKillop.
Hey, Dave, thank you so much. And I'm afraid to say anything because I don't want to pop this bubble that these individuals have painted about myself. But I do have a message to share with you today, and I think it's very important. And Ed, it's been wonderful knowing you for the last 12 years. John Stahl, getting to meet you lately, and your energy and just your planning and your appreciation of people. And Dave, you're like Johnny on the spot. You're there just catching as things kind of fall through a crack. You're there catching it, and super talent. And you and I have some similar backgrounds as well. And I'm gonna start calling. I think I'm gonna start calling Trent the dentist. As I think back to my original conversations with him. But on a very clear note, you know, there are some people you meet in your life and they stick with you. And Kevin is one of those, or Trent's one of those people where when you visit with him, you know, you immediately know that his IQ is off the chart. And it's like, you really have to think about your languaging and what you say and how you say it, because people that have an extremely high IQ, you don't want to be challenged by them. So it forces you to have a real succinct thought process and to come through. And I've really enjoy working with Trent. I enjoy being able to put something out there and him and I be able to go back and forth on, and he's always open to hear another perspective. He wants to hear something else. He doesn't get defensive or put what he thinks needs to be out there. He's a tremendous listener, and I really value that about him. And as Trent said, you know, there was about a 5-month dance that was going on here, and I knew that I wanted to work with rNetwork. And I want to take you through this process that I went through, because each one of you are so fortunate to be here, I think, at this moment in time. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment also. But I'm going to share with you, having been in the company now for about 3.5 weeks, what I really know. I'm even more excited today, and I'm going to talk about that as well. But, you know, I think first and foremost is, you know, rNetwork is a company that's about 1.5 years old. And for the most part, you know, been running at this for a year, and it really is, it's a traditional startup. And for those of you that have been in startups before, they're a little nervy. They're a little, you know, a company has to come in and put processes in play and learn how to communicate with one another. And people wear multiple hats, and then they bring other people on board, and then they share those duties. And a company needs to evolve. And it's difficult both for, you know, it takes a very different person to be on the inside of a startup company, and it takes a very different kind of person to be in the field in a startup. But I'll share with you, having participated in both, because half of my career, I've been like you, I've been in the field, I've built distributorships all over the globe, I lived internationally, and I've been in startups before, and I've also been in startups on the inside, working with companies and helping them grow, build, and develop around the globe as well. And I'll tell you, it's challenging on both sides, but what I will tell you is this: the rewards are greater for those people that get involved and go through the test of time and stay with it and stay focused. Because I can't tell you how many times I can think back, and I remember people talking, oh my gosh, remember 3 years ago, that first website we had, how clumsy it was, and people laugh about it and when they look at it now. And these are some of the biggest income earners in that company today. But back when it first started, right, there was some clumsiness. And I'm not saying that we're a clumsy company. I'm just saying that when you look at a startup, there are things that happen and you want to kind of scratch your head sometimes. This company has been through some of those churns, and this company is coming out of it, having Trent now sitting in his seat for just about 90 days or so, give or take a week. Trent has been able to put in place something that is very, very specific, is very detailed. You know, Trent drives a very strong and a consistent cadence. I think it comes from his military background. Everything that we do is tied to the company vision, and it aligns to the strategic plan. Each item that we do, that we talk about, that we execute against, is project managed, and he also demands a full accountability of his team. I mean, everybody, even himself, he'll put himself out there. He demands a full accountability, and people enjoy working for people that are able to put themselves out there, and Trent's one of those individuals. Now, when you talk to Trent, you get he's a technology guy, he's a finance, he's a fintech guy, working for Google impresses all of us, managing teams of 400 or 500 people around the globe and in different cultures and living around the globe. Those things are all really impressive. But when he can roll that back and sit in the role of a CEO and being able to orchestrate a company like strategic chess moves, he's really tested himself. And you know what? This guy is up for the challenge. I love what he does. I love what he emulates. So when I visited with them on the phone, and then I came into town and I spent an entire day with that group and the founders. I met Roger and Troy and Richard and Kevin. And I got to tell you, there's some amazing background with these individuals. Some of them have built organizations into the hundreds of thousands and a million people before, been involved in some of the largest marketing campaigns in America before, have done this. And I love that this team has no ego about them. The cost of entry is a spirit to serve. And I love that. Everybody inside the company, when they work inside of rNetwork, they will have a spirit to serve, or they're going to have a quick exit out of this company, because you are our business. And without your business, we have no business. We get it. We understand that. So when I was looking at rNetwork, I love that this was a subscription-based business model. I've been in those companies where I've got the pills and the potions and the lotions, and where I've got to buy inventory on the front end, and I've got to be able to make significant investment. I love the way that this participation marketplace was set up. It was genius the way that it was set up, the vision of the company, how Trent and how the rest of the founders, and now how you all want to leverage all of that into a better purchasing capacity, earning more money back for doing the same thing. Everybody loves value. Everybody wants more for less. Everybody wants to spend less to be able to get more. There's nothing new there. We just have a better way of being able to do it. We're small today. We're getting bigger, and we're going to continue to get bigger. And the plans are in play, and you're going to see this as this now rolls out going forward, how we're able to leverage ourselves and leverage our numbers into tremendous ways in which to incentivize each one of you at a greater rate to be able to buy more, be able to get greater value, and be able to earn money and be able to earn income back on all that you purchase, and then pay pieces of that up through the comp plan tree. I love this compensation plan that Troy and that Richard first put together. I think they were the first ones to put it together, and then they sold the rest of the team on it. When you look at this 3x10 matrix, and there's some really exciting things, by the way, that we can add to this going forward. It's wonderfully fair. People grow quick. And when you have products and services out there that people can really align to, this company, those kinds of companies grow at a phenomenal rate. And we're getting ready to begin to grow at one of those phenomenal rates. And I'm going to talk about that in just a moment as well. But I also want to address something called trust. Trust is today's global currency, right? Trust is really, really, really very important. And I love that the people that I work with, I love that John, and I love that Ed, and many other people that I know in the field for many, many years, and Trent and the executive team, they're all trustworthy. I love what they stand for. I love the character of who they are and what they're all about. You see, I was introduced to this company by a very good friend of mine who I've known for over 20 years. He sits on the advisory group for rNetwork. Tremendous background, business background, acquisition, M&A, investments, technology-based. You can put that person and Trent in a room, and they're going to talk a language that the rest of us just don't understand. And I love that about Trent, where he can change his languaging, and he can talk to me, or he can get up there in the high tech, and he can really run crazy at those things with people inside the company and people outside of the company. But when you look at this industry today, those of you that have been in the industry before, and most people have, people are looking for a home, right? They're looking for a home. And here's what I think about this company here. The products that you are going to see in the next 3 and 4 weeks introduced, some more additions that you're going to see a month and 2 months after that. As we roll into the fall, this company will come out in January as that new darling of the industry. Something new, something different, that new darling of the industry. You have something, we have something that no other company really has out there. This vision that we're chasing. Now, I get it, and I'm going to put a point of pain out here, and I always believe, you got to fall on the sword. You don't want to go hide behind a corner. You want to make the obvious, right? This company in the early days, it talked about the bank and the rev card. And the company said, wait, we can't talk about the bank and we can't talk about the rev card. And all of a sudden the company pulled it off the shelf. And that created a huge void for many of you. Now the company made the right decision, because the bank you don't care about the bank. It's the value proposition, the services that we can utilize off of a bank into other products that we go and offer you. That's where the win is, right? Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see a swipe. You're going to see where we're able to take a card, swipe it, and you get paid every time that somebody goes on a swipe. And that is in process, and that has not gone away, but we're not going to talk about the bank. But I get that by having that, there was this void that was created in your presentation and in your pitch. Here's what I'm going to promise you right now, because having been in the company for the last 3 or 4 weeks, I get what's going on. I get what's happening. I see what's happening in front of me. You're going to see, and Trent goes, John's going to talk about a couple of products. I wish I could tell you what the products are, right? Some of you have now, when you take a look at, there's a slide in the business presentation. One of the slides, it talks about Financial Academy. You're going to see a product called Financial Academy introduced here in the next 3 weeks or so. You're going to see it talks about our pharmacy. You're going to see another pharmacy product introduced. It talks about our security. You're going to see something introduced, going forward with those. Right now, there are 4 products that I know of that are baked and they're just about done. You're going to see 3 of those probably before the end of the month. Then you're going to see something else going to next month. And then maybe 6 weeks later, there's another one that we're going to have done that we're going to go pull off the shelf. And then there's another one. And then you go into the fall. I'm telling you, if you knew what I knew right now, here's what I would tell you to go do. Right now is the time that you pull your best and your brightest off the shelf. Let me give you an analogy. Do you want to be that person at the end of the pier with the rod in the water that's fishing for one fish at a time? Or do you want to be that person out there hauling 100 miles a net with a couple of boats? You want to be that person out there hauling a couple of 100 miles a net. Because what happens when this company goes into that hockey stick and it begins to increase at an increasing rate, you can have tens or hundreds, or you can have thousands of people that are out there that are enrolling and building and developing that you're going to get the benefit of, that's going to go fill up your matrix. You're going to see these new products introduced over the next few weeks, that when you look at it, you're going to see that this aligns to the vision. So now when you go talk to people see when you talk about the vision, there's products that align to that vision, they can see it. And then you begin to talk about, hey, and then there's future products this company's bringing on board that aligns to that vision. This product, this company, this pitch, it gets progressively easier in the next 3 weeks. And then in the next 6 weeks, and the next 10 weeks, and the next 12 or 14 weeks from the products and the services that we're announcing. And I will share one more thing with you as well. We are going to be announcing a sales strategy, and Trent and I hope, along with Dave, that this is going to be done, and I'm very confident that will be by the end of the month. This sales strategy is going to turn this industry upside down on sideways, because what it's going to do, it's going to double. I believe it's going to go triple. I believe it's going to go triple our current charter member acquisition, and it's going to dramatically increase retention. So what if you went out there and you brought your best and your brightest, and what I'm telling you is true in the next 2 and 3 or 4 weeks, and these products that align, they're coming out there introduced, and all of a sudden you're in amazement, and you started going after your best and your brightest right now, and you'll be able to go put that out there with that. And then here's this new sales strategy that, what if I'm right? Because I've done it before, and it doubles and triples your acquisition. It just level heads your retention numbers. How much faster would your business grow with those 10 or 15 or 20 more people between now and month end that you go talk to, that versus you're thinking, I'm going to sit here on the sideline and I'm going to wait till this stuff is done. Ladies and gentlemen, this is here. This is now. I've seen it and I explore it, and I do it every single day being inside this company. Trent is a very controlled individual, because if he was emotional, he'd be screaming and jumping up and down knowing what's in his head. Most of us couldn't control the excitement. What you see at Trent, that's as excited as Trent gets, by the way, right there in that picture. He is doing somersaults and he is jumping backwards up and down, but he knows what this company is bringing. Trent, if we can pull out 10% of what's in your head, of what's in your vision and what you want to go do, and I know those pieces are coming together because I see the strategic plan, I see technology working on them. You can't snap a finger and it doesn't happen overnight, but I see the pieces coming together, and I see in the product roadmap what we're doing. I'm telling you, strap in, ladies and gentlemen, because 4 weeks from now, you're going for a ride, and then you're going for another ride and another ride and another ride. This is going to be an amazing journey that we're going to go on, and we're going to go travel the world together. We're going to have fun. We're going to be in style, but you're going to be a member, at a high-ranking member in a company that people are going to say, oh my gosh, I heard about that company 4 years ago, and I wish I would have gotten involved. We're going to be aggressive internationally. We're going to grow across the globe. We got a business model that scales very, very quickly. It's because a lot of the technology and what's in this guy's head right here, in Trent's head. So I'm telling you, my request, look once, look twice. Think about what I've said here. Strap in, make that list, work that list. Dave and I are going to be incredibly aggressive in being on so many different calls and presentations going on around the globe, and three-way calls. And that's my life. I love doing business. I love closing. I love sharing what's going on and happening. And I love the vision that this group has done. So with that, I'm going to, if I keep on talking, Trent, I'm going to share
John,
something.
let me jump in real quick. Yeah. So guys, I just want to, John's right. I don't get too worked up about much. It's steady as we go. Right. So I want to mention a few things. So you guys heard me on, anybody who joined the last CEO update, you heard me talk about the month to 45-day cycles, right? So we are rounding the bend, coming out of the back end of what we called our value creation cycle. So that's why you see all of this stuff hitting it all at the same time. It's about 30 to 45 day cycles where we focus on specific executional tasks. That doesn't mean that when we're in the next phase, we're going to stop onboarding additional value-added products. It just means from a focus perspective, where is the majority, 80, 90% of the resources being focused, right? So you saw some of the things being rolled out recently, the improvements on pay with commissions, the on-off button, the ability for people to manage their own information through their back office, things like change their own email address, change their addresses. You saw small little incremental changes that were actually relatively large, but most of our time was being spent on value creation. How do we roll out products and services that put additional value into the network? We're rounding the back side of that. That's why John's talking about the next 3 to 4 weeks. And some of them are already done. They're being beta tested by some of your leaders right now, right? So as we come out of that value creation, we're going to roll into a cycle, which we're calling engagement UI/UX. So the next 30 to 45 days is focused on how do we put tools in the hands of the charter members to allow them to better engage their people. On top of that, how do we improve the engagement strategy of the organization coming from corporate, and also focus on the UI and UX experience. It's just really UI and UX is user interface, user experience, right? So focusing on the experience of the charter members, everything from back office to websites to data analytics, to understand how people are engaging and improve the engagement, to make sure that we have analytics that are running in the background that are determining how people are interacting with things and customize that interaction to the person. Things like looking at a learning management software that Roger's working on right now, so that people are actually going through learning modules and getting certified in specific things, right? So the next 30 to 45 days, after the next 3 weeks, we come out of value creation. The next is focus on engagement, UI, and UX. Now, John mentioned another product that would be probably coming out in about 6 weeks. Again, it doesn't mean we're going to completely lose focus on any of the other areas, but 80 to 90% of the resources are going to be focused on engagement, UI, and UX. So what that really means for you is now we have additional value-added products rolling in. Then you see the organization evolving from an engagement and UI and UX perspective and now you're in a position that, holy God, hold on to your hats, because we're in a position of you have all the value products. Now you've improved from an engagement and an experience perspective, and now everything comes together and it's time to explode. So again, to John's point, get ahead of the curve. For God's sakes, get ahead of the curve. because once it comes, it's coming, and it's going to be a tidal wave. And we're already seeing things ramp up. So, you know, we're going to see a tidal wave in the next 3 weeks. I'm going to leave it there and turn it back over to John or Dave.
Yeah, Dave, go ahead and wrap it up, bud.
All right, all right. Hey, you guys as excited as I am, I can tell you that I haven't stopped smiling just because I do know what's on the forefront. I can just tell you this, you guys, what's being put together for the benefit of the field is incredible. And the value add that we're adding is even more incredible. So we're excited, you guys, to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to plug in to the different calls that are happening with the awareness campaign that's happening right now. Lots of opportunity to put your prospects in front of the opportunity so people can hear about it, understand it, see the vision, and all of that. So I just wanted to say that don't forget to plug into those. Those are at 11, 3, and 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's Monday through Saturday. Lots of opportunities to plug into there, so don't forget to do that. That's all at rNetwork.live. You can access any of those calls. It's very simple. And thanks to John and Ed for sharing your perspectives today. Appreciate that. Thank you for Trent for getting on here along with John McKillop. And until next time, you guys, have an amazing week, and we'll be talking to you guys very soon. We'll be talking to you later. Bye-bye.